I don't know. My hair looks
There we go. Okay.
sweet.
So I am here with my former client, Colter. Haven't gotten out of touch with Colter since our coaching, just because he's been such a success story and has really stuck to the program even outside of when he was my client. So, Colter, tell us a little bit about yourself here.
Thanks for the introduction, Sean. It's great to talk with you again. I love sharing kind of our journey together because it wasn't just mine; it was yours. I'm 28 years old. Grew up in Helena, Montana. I now live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I got pretty big, pretty obese. Honestly, after I moved to Utah, I got into a desk job and ended up sitting there a lot and got lazy and ate a lot of fast food. So I got pretty big. Um, and it was, I'm trying to figure out where to go with this.
Well, how about this? I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Um, what was kind of your driving factor to get into the program? Like what made you decide to get in there?
Well, me and you have always been fairly good friends, and we touched base in at the beginning of end of 2019, beginning of 2020, and that's when we started talking again a little bit more. And honestly, at that point, that was the biggest I had ever been. I got up to 235 pounds, just big kid for my size. I'm only 5'9", and really, I kind of hated myself a bit, and not a bit. I hated myself. I knew I needed something different, and I knew what I needed to change. But I kind of lacked the ability to do so. I had lifted my whole life throughout my childhood, but in my adult years, with your body changing and different things like that, I lacked the knowledge how to do that properly. And
Okay,
so that's what, when we had our conversation, it helped me to realize I needed help even more.
gotcha. And you would consider yourself a pretty independent person, right? I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah. I lived alone for 3.5 years when I first moved to Utah. I've always been a self-sufficient person. I don't rely on other people to finish anything or get anything done
right,
usually.
definitely a high achiever, I consider you. So tell me a little about your experience with the program itself.
The program itself was really good. I mean, I feel like it was really good for me because we had an openness about us. I was always totally honest with you.
Yes.
You were always totally honest with me. If there was ever a point when it wasn't, it was easy to or to tell by the results.
Right.
Um, and as long as I took everything that you said and I actually applied it and stuck to it, then things over time, it's like the saying, um, you know, embrace the suck. And that's kind of what you have to do. As long as you stick to the work, it works.
Exactly. And there's times where it's hard, but there's times where it becomes easier as the program goes on, right?
Absolutely. I would say after the first 3, 4 weeks, it gets a little bit easier. You get in that routine a little bit more. And really, after that first month, you start to see a little bit more results. At least for me, I did. Um, and, luckily, you were so good at educating me on that pathway that I was able to take that. And after our time together, I was able to use that in my independent life as well.
Right. And that's something that I really admired about you is you took everything I said seriously, and you still apply those principles today. And it's prevalent because that weight hasn't come back. You're putting on a little bit of weight intentionally right now, because
Correct.
you're
Yeah.
looking towards a bodybuilding show, but you're
Correct.
doing it the right way this time instead of the wrong way. So,
Yep.
how is your experience being out of the program? Would you consider your results sustainable?
Yes. So it's been off and on because you have the highs and lows, um, but outside of the program, you learn to ride those highs and lows for what they are. Um, and it's a little different because you don't have someone to always rely on constantly for that daily accountability, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it may be. Um, but I feel like from the program, you learn to be more self-disciplined in that.
Yeah.
Being out of the program is good to an extent. I miss it sometimes for sure. We've had conversations about that
Right.
several times over the last 2 years, because we started our journey in May of 2020,
Yep.
and then we finished at the end of August 2020.
August. Yeah, you ended up
Yeah,
doing 5 months. Yep. Or
yep. Th-
maybe April.
it was the
Three.
end of May to the end of
That's
August.
right. So it was about 4 months. 4 months back.
Yeah, yeah. So, and we lost that 30 pounds together, and then I was able to continue that and lose another 40
Yep.
by May of 2021. But it's being outside the program, it's different just because of, once again, the lack of accountability. You really have to hold yourself accountable. And that's why in the program, it's so important to stick to the program. That way you develop those habits that you can use in your everyday life.
All right. So it's not just about the weight loss. It's actually a lot about the mental skills you gain to hold yourself
Absolutely.
accountable. And you learn that, yes, there's going to be bad days and there's going to be good days. But as long as we're on the trend to where we want to go, that's all that matters. It's just like the stock market graphs, right? It's up,
Yeah.
up, up, up. As long as we're trending, our weight is going down, doesn't matter if there's little blips in the radar. So
Yep.
I'm glad you picked that up. I got
Absolutely.
one more question for you. That's it, and then
Yeah.
I will let you be. What did you learn from the program? What is the single most important thing you learned from the program?
Consistency. Consistency in my diet, in my lifts, in being honest with myself and anybody that I'm holding myself accountable to. As long as you're consistent in all those things, you're going to have days or even weeks where you're just like, you know what? I'm going camping this week. I'm going to eat whatever while I'm there, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to do this. Or, it's the 4th of July weekend since we just had that. I'm going to go out and I'm going to have my barbecue food. I'm going to enjoy my weekend, but I'm going to come back Monday and I'm going to get right back at it.
Right.
Like you said, we as long as your weight's in that downward trend, because nobody is perfect. It is never going to be absolutely perfect. And in my opinion, you need that break from time to time.
Yep.
To make sure that you stay sane, because doing it all the time, you can get burnt out.
Yeah.
But consistency is the most important thing that I learned from the program. And like part of my program with you was, getting a text every day telling me to work out.
Yep.
So that was my big consistency thing.
Cool. And with the program, we take into account that need to, go off your diet. We put in cheat meals for you per
Yep.
week because everybody's human. Just like you said, nobody's perfect. It's hard to stay to a sustainable diet if you're eating the same thing every single day. So we have diet breaks where we break things up and you're able to eat what you want. So
Yeah, absolutely.
is there anything else? I mean, the floor is yours now. Is there anything else you'd like to say as far as recommendations or?
I would just, anybody that is contemplating doing this program, I highly recommend it. I've had several of my friends that I've referred to Sean since I finished mine. I'm thinking about doing another one with him for my bodybuilding competition that I'm planning for. Just because of yeah, exactly. Just because of the success we've seen together. He's so easy to work with, absolutely wonderful person, love him to death. So if you're thinking about it and you have any questions, ask Sean. I'm happy to have a conversation with anybody if they have questions as well about the client experience. But absolutely wonderful program. Couldn't speak higher about it.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Colter, and I'll be speaking to you soon about that bodybuilding program. We'll get something tied up for you. And thanks for doing this for me, man. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah. Anytime.
All right.